Get ready to move, get ready to groove. We're bringing the funk, gonna make you move. Life back system, it's time for change.
Hey, good morning. Coach Lisa Pickard here with Whiteboard in regards to mental health. Okay, this subject is so deep that I went down a million rabbit holes, literally going, okay, what is the most important things for me to convey to you in a short period of time? Because mental health plays a huge part on our healing from obesity, autoimmune disease, very serious chronic illness, right? And then on top of that, the root cause of mental illness is exactly why you're here. So let's just take a look at mental health and all the different highlights that definitely feed your brain. So we have chemicals, which brings on emotions. It causes schizophrenia, anxiety. It gives us happiness. It gives us depression. That alone, each one of these, I could break down and do literally a 6-week talk on. The most important thing to remember is that every chemical plays a part on your mental health. It doesn't matter if it's your lotion, your shampoo, the blue light coming from your computers, microwaves, what you're breathing in the air, if you live in the city near, highways, lots of vehicles, diesel from tractors, if you're on a ranch or farming. Every single thing that you can think of that was not naturally on the earth is now affecting your mental health, your brain. So the chemicals start to become toxins in the brain, but they didn't start in the brain, they started somewhere else. So along with that, that starts the overload, the taxing of the other part, starts to create emotional disorders. And from there, we start to feel out of nowhere. We hit 40 years old and it's like, oh my gosh, I just feel like I have social anxiety. I feel like I don't want to go anywhere. I feel like something's wrong with me. I feel depressed or I want to cry all the time. Maybe some days I'm super happy and then, man, I just crash and I just don't feel normal. I start to feel depressed. So we go to a doctor and they say, well, here's a medication for this and this because you took him or her your symptoms. And the symptoms go back to, okay, we have a pill for that. But I want you to really remember that all of this started because of toxins that were built up in your liver. You guys know this course is about obesity, but really we're always dealing the root cause of everything, which is your liver. So you hit 40, you partied in your 20s and 30s, you ate a lot of, not necessarily bad food, but high oxalates, salads. Maybe you drank too much or did drugs or whatever it was. It takes time. Oh my gosh, does it take time? Hallucinogenic drugs can take 15 to 20 years to get out of your liver. So if you were ever a drug user or you've ever been a high alcoholic, and I'm not even saying you're an alcoholic, but you consumed massive amounts of alcohol, that can take 15, 20, 25 years to get out of your system. That's in all the neurons, the transmitters, every part of your body stores all of those toxins in the cells. Well, the one processor is your liver, and that's what's constantly getting rid of toxins. Well, now all of a sudden, let's just say, oh, I was super clean. I never did drugs. I never drank. Well, if you took Tylenol, you were already killing yourself. Tylenol can take 8 to 15 years to get out of the liver. Like, this is dramatic. This is a lot of drastic damage that we did in the first 40 years of life. Now, if you're up at 60, 70, 80 years old and you're trying to reclaim your life, you're looking for longevity, we have to evaluate what's going on because you came because you're depressed. You came because you have to make a change. Well, this is going to change when this change, 100%, because toxin and toxic liver is mental illness. So now we're going to talk about what helps your mental illness. So I did these in colors just so that you know that dopamine represents the blue. So what does dopamine do? Well, it gives us mental alertness. It takes away all kinds of like depression. Basically, it gives us reward, it gives us motivation, it makes us feel like we have a purpose in life. So when we have dopamine in our body, we're actually feeling pretty energetic. We definitely are motivated. We like doing household projects. We want to finish our job, things like that. So you can imagine when you become lethargic and you're on the couch and you're not having dopamine and you just don't feel like doing anything, fatigue, this is going to play a part in that. But the next step is when it starts to affect the brain, and we have forgetfulness, we have irritability, we have confusion, and we have sleep-wake patterns. So our sleep-wake patterns we've talked about in the past, we will talk about them again in the future. Sleep-wake patterns are the circadian rhythms in your body that are no longer working properly. Maybe you've gotten your nights mixed up with your days, or you sleep a couple hours, you get up, you sleep a couple hours, you get up. This is all related to the toxins in the liver, which create mental illness. We start to get overwhelmed. We start to feel the emotions of depression because we're not getting the balance that we need. So the next thing is, what happens when the toxic and the liver is toxic and all these toxins are congested in there, is that it starts to send emotions, feelings to the brain of sadness, of sorrow, of depression, of fear, of fatigue. These are things that make you kind of freeze and you're not really sure what you should be doing. These feelings then make it where you make the choices that you can't cope anymore. You have psychological issues going on. You're unable to take action. You just feel paralyzed is what it comes down to. You just want to lay in bed all day long. You feel sorry. You feel like you want to cry, depressed. I mean, most of us know these symptoms. And no matter how much somebody calls you and says, hey, are you doing okay? Your first response is, yeah, I'm fine. Because you don't even know how to explain what's going on in your mental health, because the feelings and the whole relationship here is it's not explained. Like, it doesn't have a definition, except that your feelings is a liver that's full of toxins that came from chemicals, not even just bad food, but everything in your environment. And you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Live in a bubble? No, but we are going to remind you of your habits and of exercise and how to get this working again. So stress, well, let's look at anxiety. So anxiety has several reasons for being in our brain. The number one is going to be your liver. So when your liver is congested, it lets off ammonias. The ammonias are no longer functioning in the brain. They do have a job, but now they're flooded. And when they're flooded, they can't do anything. So now we have anxiety. So we can have anxiety from behavioral trauma. Maybe there was childhood things that happened. It can come from daily stress, which is just setting up your agenda. You're stressed, you've got a lot going on your plate, getting the kids here and there, taking care of other people's kids, like whatever it is. Maybe it's even just dealing with your family members. Then there's extreme trauma, which are physical things that happen to our body: molestation, rape, car accidents. There's walking through 9/11. That would be trauma, right? So there's a lot of traumas. Driving on the freeway can create trauma. Being trampled by a wave can cause trauma. So this is huge, but when your liver is working, you can sort it out in your brain. But when the liver's not working, the brain becomes so confused that it has a really hard time sorting out, not truth and lies, but figuring out how to deal with what has happened or is about to happen. The stressors that we have every single day that are underlying are things like you're thinking about your parents, you're thinking about your children, you're just constantly like in prayer, hoping that things don't happen. I mean, I could list so many underlying stressors that we deal with every day. Finances. Do you have enough money? Where's the money going to come from? The mail lady shows up and you haven't even gotten the mail yet, but you're so stressed about what's going to be in the mail. These are underlying stressors that we can't change, But if we have a good liver and we have good mental health, we can learn to manage them. So again, all of this is going to fall back on having a healthy liver. So our stressors also can be fed by lack of oxygen. So now let's go back to the liver again, and we have red blood cells, white blood cells. The red blood cells are traveling your oxygen. If your liver is congested and it's not able to do its job, quite frequently we're lacking oxygen to the brain, which also creates sorrow, sadness, fatigue, things that we just don't feel right. And it always happens somewhere between the ages of 35 and 45. So they gave it the label of menopause. Oh, your hormones are off. These things aren't working properly. It is a liver issue, 100%. No matter what it is, I'm going to tell you, I have researched deep into lots and lots of autoimmune diseases that people are like, oh no, MS isn't a disease, SIRS isn't a disease, mast cell's not an autoimmune disease, thyroid's not. Yes, they are. They all are. And what it means is that your liver is damaged. It's not functioning. And since it can't function, the body goes, oh, it's probably telling us that we're dying. So now we need to destroy our body so the body can just die. To watch somebody die of cancer when they have a really healthy heart and a healthy liver, all the other organs have to die first and then it attacks the liver. So we want to focus on the liver, you guys. I can't say it enough. So when we get to here, we also want to look at stress. And I'm going to hit the colors in just a minute. Because as I talked about a second ago on stress, most of us bring on our own stress, to be honest with you. We're thinking of things we shouldn't be thinking about. We're overthinkers, or we're creating our own stress, our own drama. So I recommend journaling for this. It is so critical. If you're an overthinker, write your thoughts. As a matter of fact, some overthinkers think so much they don't even remember their thoughts. They had like a great thought. They're like, oh man, that was so good. What was I thinking? But the next train of thought came up so fast that the one they were thinking of is gone. So it's not necessarily ADD, it's just you're an overthinker, you're a high intelligent person. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to reduce some of your stress in your life, get in the habit of either talking to your phone. I used to carry a pocket recorder when I was running 118 health clubs, and literally I would record all my thoughts all day long. Like, oh, I got to talk to this manager. Oh, I got to do this for marketing. Oh, I need to do this for advertisement, because my brain constantly was excelling forward, like it was propelling forward. However, quite frequently I'd go, oh my gosh, I had this thought I wanted to do, and then I had to stop and collect my thoughts, and then it would come back to me. So confusion of the mind actually stems from stress and anxiety, but these two elevate through obesity and through toxins of the liver. So we need to bring everything down. Get yourself a piece of paper, write it on your phone, talk it to your phone, tell it to a friend, do whatever you got to do so you can keep this all working. And then, of course, the brain is the huge central system for love. So we're going to talk on that in a moment too. And then the last one is, as I've said before, which came first? Is it the gut, the brain, or the liver? So the brain and the liver literally are connected. However, the gut in the middle is what feeds the brain, is what causes mental illness. So if we don't have a healthy gut, AKA healthy liver, we're not going to ever have healthy thoughts. We're going to struggle with depression. We're going to struggle with hormone issues. And all of this over here is hormone issues. So let's look at dopamine, serotonin. These are just the highlight ones. We have the norepinephrine, and then we have oxytocin. This one here is your love. So did you know getting a kiss in the morning can give you 10 doses of that? It can set your day off to make you feel good. Giving somebody a hug. Now you're like, okay, I don't have anybody to kiss. That's fine. You can hug your dog. Like whatever it is, it just kicks the serotonin in, your oxytocin in, and that's gonna make you feel really good. If you look in the little circles here, I do have which ones focus on what. So we have our norepinephrine, which is our focus. That's a fight or flight situation. It actually is an arousal. So like if we are at the parking lot. It lets us know that somebody's walking behind us or maybe even stalking us. And it also is part of your memory and it's part of your diligence. So these things together are going to help you propel forward and be safe if you have good mental health. Look at your dopamine. It's your alertness. It's a pressure. It's reward. It's motivation. It's euphoric. It is also part of the puzzle because none of this can work separately. It all has to flow and work together. So let's look at serotonin. That's pleasure, relaxation, contentment, positivity, well-being. So where do we get that from, Coach? How do we make all of this happen? Because I can tell you at 65, and I'm 100% sure that you guys feel it, you want to be alert. You want to be full of energy. You want really focused concentration. Like everybody loves to be able to hear something. I can tell you when I was battling all my autoimmune disease, people would talk to me and it wasn't like I wasn't there, but I wasn't there. Like sometimes all I would hear would be like, wah, 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 wah. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, what did you say? And they would say it again and I would be like, I'm really sorry. Third time's a charm. I could not understand what you said. What did you say? Concentration allows me to be able to process that information. Obviously, now that my liver's doing really good and I've gotten rid of fatty liver disease, my concentration's great. So mood, sex, appetite, aggression, these are all falling underneath your hormones. What if any of these are not working? We are going to have a problem in mental health. I tell people all the time, guns aren't the problem, people are the problem. So now you're not getting what you need and you become super aggressive, super emotional, and you do erratic behavior that is all focused off an unhealthy brain. Now on top of that, we have our pleasure, our reward, our motivation, our dopamine. We have to keep those levels up. Exercise gives you almost every single thing you will ever need. Half hour to 1 hour a day is gonna kick those endorphins in. It's gonna feed your dopamine. It's gonna feed your serotonin. Sunshine, blue light, red light. If you're feeling depressed, you know you got the winter blues coming, get your vitamin D in. Take care of your liver, and your liver will take care of your gut and your brain because they are almost 2 in 1. Along with that, obsessive behavior, compulsive behavior. This falls underneath the serotonin too. So if they're out of balance, quite frequently you will be seeking something that you shouldn't be seeking. Not that it's always bad to be a shopaholic, but maybe you don't have the money to sustain that, so you would have to get that under control. Again, this all ties in together. So if we look at here and we look at what's going on with the liver does a lot of different things. It has so many functions. But the one function, if it's not working properly, which is the communication system to the brain, then things don't work right. So what you thought stays in the liver actually overflows into the body. And from there, it becomes a hepatic liver, which is brain disease. From brain disease, we start to see personality disorders, mood swings. We start to see signs of dementia, forgetfulness, memory issues. We see a high level ammonia. We smell it in our urine and we're like, what is that smell? Why does my urine smell like that? It's actually toxins dropping from the liver into your kidney and the kidney to your, I just forgot the name, your urea. And from there, it's gonna be toxic. But when the liver is hanging on to it and it can't use the portals properly, it backs it all up into the body system. And then we have a substance problem. Not necessarily substance as in drugs and alcohol, anything at all that is going into your body. It could be your soap, it could be your shampoo, your perfume, that is flooding your liver is going to wreak havoc on your entire body. From here, as I said in the beginning, drugs and a bad diet take years. So no, you're not going to be healed in, 30 days, 6 weeks or whatever. It takes years to get it out of the cells where it has buried itself, and it wreaks havoc on your body, including something like mast cell, MS, there's so many, lymphatic system, all these autoimmune diseases, fibro, Lyme disease. Literally, they're trapped inside the liver, and they're shutting off the symptoms to the body, so the body reacts in symptoms, and the doctor diagnoses you. It is critical that you get that liver functioning. The tissue actually will change the structure in the liver, and once it's changed, it becomes a scar tissue, and it no longer is manufacturing the way that it used to for the brain to be signaled to be healthy. So what do we do about that? We clean that liver. Like, I can't even stress to you guys, kidney disease, pancreatitis, testicular problem, ovarian problem, I can just go on and on, even heart issues, everything in AFib and can't even talk, aorta issues, that all is the liver. Okay, from here, what can we do about this? We can get the blood cells functioning at a better level by detoxing the body. So obviously, you guys know, do your liver detox. Increase the amount of lemon that you're having daily if you need to. But if you're getting great results, by all means, just stay steady right where you're at. You're doing fantastic. Don't be obsessive compulsive and jumping off and going, oh my gosh, I need to do this, I need to do that. If your blood work is spot on, you feel great, you're not having memory issues, you're not obsessive compulsive, you're not in depression, you're not walking around, like thinking you're crazy and losing your mind, literally, your liver is talking to your brain and you are winning. This is a great sign. But if the ammonia is high, you really need to be extremely careful on this particular situation, because it's fatal, okay? That's just the bottom line. So we do have to focus on this. And the reason why is when the ammonia is low, which we need, and it's doing its job, it converts proteins, it converts your glucose, but when it goes high, it breaks through that mitochondria barrier, and now it infects. So instead of doing what it should be doing, it does exactly the opposite. And then from here, it's crazy because there's a lot of viruses and things that happen, but none of them can break through the barrier of mitochondria, but your ammonia can, and that's why we get mentally ill. Alcoholics have a huge problem with this. Their brain focus, their ability to have memory, short-term memory, long-term memory, it all just disappears. And it actually is critical in life because they don't necessarily have dementia, but they have a huge memory issue because of the liver, which the liver is connected to dementia anyways. So the free radicals go in and the mitochondria rob you of energy, make you depressed, destroy your emotions, rob you of love and joy and happiness and living life. You will become a very, very depressed person on the couch because your neurotransmitters are not talking to each other, all because of fatty liver disease or hepatic liver or fibrosis of the liver, or worse yet, cirrhosis of the liver. These are all, if you've got a 3% functioning liver, we can help your mental health, like 100%. But if you don't have that and it's less than that, we do have to turn to medications and do our absolute best. But doing the program will never hurt you. It's only gonna get better. And you know why? All of the things that you need, every single thing, including carnitine and B1, B6, B12, you're gonna get it from your red meat. I mean, it's absolutely amazing that red meat is going to heal that liver. So no matter what your cholesterol is, don't worry about that. Keep those triglycerides down, focus on that liver. So I wanted to go over here just for a second. Remember that the liver converts the chemicals. It takes them to water-soluble enzymes, and then your body can flush them out. So when the liver's not working, it's not able to do that job. 75% or more of all diseases started in the liver. Like, it's just crazy because people are like, oh no, it's hereditary. And the daily things that you take in, your daily products, your detergent, your shampoo, your hand soap, lotion, candles, scentsing, this is all destroying your liver. So you've got to find either a better way to find a cleaner use or just don't use them at all. Okay, so also those items damage your brain cells the same as alcohol does, or drug, or LSD, or whatever, coke, meth, heroin, they're all the same, and they break down also your, it's called P450, your brain cells. So we have to focus on bringing the B1 back up through the red meat and get these things working. Because if you don't, the glucose also converts and breaks down and gives you type 2 diabetes and or worse. You fall into type 3, which is dementia, and you're on care forever. So we don't want you to end up with memory loss or amnesia. Instead, focus on healing that liver. You'll have better mental health, and we're all going to be much happier. Okay, that's about it that I can think of. Just remember, we have to heal those neurotransmitters because that is what keeps your brain functioning. Love you guys. Have a fantastic day and take care. Coach Lisa Pickard here.